everyone, to Dream It, Dare It, Do It, the second episode. Today I am with my friend Georgia. Georgia, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm absolutely awesome, darling. How are you?
I'm good. My dog wants to come and see you. She heard your voice, and she as soon as you started talking, she started coming up top here.
Hello, baby. Yo, aren't you beautiful? Yes. Amazing how we put a dark voice on, isn't it? Anyway, yeah.
I know we always do that, right? So, Georgia, thank you for accepting my invitation. It's going to be fun. I would like you to tell our listener who you are and where you're from and all of that, so that.
Who I am? I am Georgia Bazin. I'm from just outside London, obviously in the good old, rather windy, blowy UK today. We've gone from being nice and warm on Monday to absolutely freezing in the heating on by Friday. What else do you want me to say? I did Supercoach Academy with our beautiful Jasmine here.
Yeah.
And she has created these, or is in the process of creating these beautiful podcasts, because she's a very brave, very clever girlie. And I am here as part of them.
And you're a coach also, obviously you're a certified coach in transformative 3 principles way. So I really love how we have these conversations. So that's why I invited you. And just to remind everybody, this podcast is all about living the life you want, and not just living the life that or society says you should, or in what I've done was what my thoughts told me I should be living. So when we first, right before we started recording, I said, so I'm assuming that you're living the life you want. And then you said?
I said, in bits of it, yes. And in bits of it, no. And in bits of it, maybe.
So do you want to elaborate on that? Do you want to tell me?
You want the dirty stuff?
I want the dirty stuff. Well, let me ask you, like, when you say bits of it, yes. So what bits would you be?
What bits? Okay, so the bits that are, I couldn't get any better if I knew, no matter what I possibly imagined, is my kids, my relationship with my kids. That is beautiful, wonderful. This 6 months, of course, in lockdown has given me a chance to deepen that, and also through what we have been through with our understanding, see them actually clearer as individuals without all my thinking of what they should be like. So that has blossomed beautifully. Things like doing the training I'm doing, as you know, more training with Michael with his advanced and his emerging voices courses, which is such a beautiful blessing to be part of. That is life-changing stuff.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. What would I, on the good days when I'm not crabby with my husband, yeah, all's good there. On the not so good days when I'm not crabby with him, it isn't. But that's a different relationship. I didn't give birth to him, so thank God.
Yeah. That would be weird.
That would be weird. That would be, I think it's called incest, but anyway, we're not going down that. So, but of course, the times that we are in has changed so much of what we envisage that is going to make life as we want it. Because of course we can't travel. I would love to travel. I love traveling. I want to come and see you. So that's changed life in a way that, you know, I don't see my friends so much these days because so many of them still aren't even going out. So there are these things where life is so beautiful and actually every moment is beautiful. But when I'm involved in my thinking, some things aren't so beautiful.
So I totally get that. And I'm sure a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people relate. Let me ask you something. Like, if you think of, I'm going to say 20 years ago, I don't know, did 20 years ago, were you married 20 years ago?
I've been married for 37 years.
Okay, let's go back 40 years ago. Let's go back 40 years before you were married, before you had kids, before you were who you are today. Did you have?
You're taking me back to being 16 years of age, having just left school.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah.
So let me ask you, did you have, like, back then, did you have like a dream? Was there a dream?
My dream, I always loved dancing.
Okay.
Danced and I danced and I danced. And I was at boarding school and I used to do all these shows and always dancing. Never had any training or anything. And at 16, so I wanted to dance professionally. And at 16, I took myself, without my mother's permission, to London. I left school for the day. How I managed to do it, I don't know. I must have said a fair few porcupine lies to get out. And I took myself to Goldsmiths University, which is in London, which is one of the big performing arts universities here. And I had applied for their performing arts. It would have been their first year. And so I went and I danced and I did everything and went back to school anyway. I was offered a scholarship to do it. And I went with this scholarship to my mum and told her obviously that I'd taken myself up to London and that I'd applied for it and everything else. And she just said no. And so I never got to dance.
So do you have
making me tearful
just thinking about it?
Yeah. So yeah, she wouldn't let me go to London.
So so obviously, like, I know you're not a dancer. So did that stop you from dreaming after that? Did you quit?
Yes, I did, because then of course it was also being 16, I still lived at home and everything else. So my mother said, go to secretarial college. So I did, and then I got my first job at 17, and then by 18 and a half I was engaged, and then at 19 I was married.
And was that, like, in some way, was that something that you wanted? Like, you know, the life that you have today, that's not something that you wanted?
I mean, it was never, no. I mean, I didn't want to get married young and have kids young. Or, I mean, kids, even when I was married, I didn't want them until all of a sudden I wanted them. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a case of, whereas I have other girlfriends who, you know, from being a toddler would go, oh, and a baby, and love that thing. And some people are like that. No, I wasn't. So yes, I stopped dreaming it.
So so it wasn't something that, like, so why did you get married then? Like, why did you, I'm gonna tell you where, because he asked you. Nice. me? And I thought, yeah, why not? Listen, I'm asking just because, you know, what, like, I'm looking at my life, and that's the kind of thing that just intrigues me. You know, like when I met like, for me, it was like, I need to meet a man, and I need to get married, and I need to have kids. And by by the time I'm 28, I need to have 3 kids. And by the time I was 15, I had my boyfriend, and at 19, I was engaged. And at 22, I was like, I can't do this. No, this is not happening. I remember having nightmares, nightmares of being pregnant. Like, I would have like literal nightmares of, oh my God, am I pregnant? Oh no, I don't want to be like, so like, really, it wasn't. What I was doing was basically recreating my mother's life. My mother, you know, got married, and then she had kids, and, you know, by 28 she had 3, or my father by 28 had 3, whatever it was. But I was recreating my mother's. It wasn't to me, it wasn't what I wanted. And so at 22, I broke up with my boyfriend at the time, or fiance at the time. It just sounds weird now that I'm, you know, it's been 30 years. I'm just like, I had a fiance, what the heck? Uh, it's just bizarre. But I'm just like, so that's why I was asking, do you think now, looking back, that you were living the life that you wanted, or were you just living the life that you thought had to be?
I always think I was living the life that was there.
Mm.
Because if I had been living the life that I wanted, I would have been outperforming.
Mm.
So I was living the life that turned up.
Mm.
And I guess you could say, well, dancing didn't turn up. So yes, I was living the life that arrived.
But like you said in the beginning of the call, there are bits of your life that you couldn't even imagine back then that would happen, right?
Well, you don't, because I mean, if I say it's, you don't imagine the shit stuff that's going to arrive in life. Because if you did, you'd never bother bloody living it.
Mm.
And you hope for the good stuff, I guess. But you never know what's going to arrive, do you?
No.
No.
Yeah, you know, like in my life, I did a lot of things. Like, I mean, after I broke up, like, that was the biggest thing I'd ever done in my life, like breaking up with my fiance. I was like, I was smashing everything. I mean, I thought I had it down pat, you know, like, we had bought a piece of land, and we had, you know, thought of, oh yeah, we had thought of how we were going to build the house on there. And, you know, I wasn't at the level of, because I told you I was afraid of getting kids, so having kids and getting pregnant and all of that. So, I mean, I didn't have the names of the kids, but I knew I wanted 2 boys and a girl, just like my mother. It's like, I was I was just reliving my mother's life instead of living mine. You know what I mean? And so when I did that, I kind of like shattered everything I thought life was going to be, right? So there was a lot of rethinking of everything. And then at one point I was just like, oh, I can do whatever I want. So, you know, I wanted to sing, so I sang. You know, I found classes, and I sang on stage. And then I found this guy that was looking for a singer, and then we became a duet, and we started doing parties, and I had like a ball, you know, doing all of that. So I did so many things, and you know, a lot of people I talk to, they're like, okay,
But are they things that you dreamed of, or are they things that fell into place?
well, that's the thing. That's what I want to discuss, because I think that there's like dreaming. There's like dreaming, oh, I want to meet Prince Charming. You know, like there's these
Yeah.
dreams, and then there's these dreams that you don't even know are dreams, or these wanting, these callings, these things that call to you that you're just like, and I think that sometimes the dream, you know, that dream that you're thinking that you want gets in the way of what actually is calling you to.
Yeah.
You know, like, so that's what's really interesting to me, you know, like sometimes people have these dreams that are really stopping them from hearing the calling of how life wants to live through them.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think there are so many. I mean, I just think of my daughter who's desperate to be a musician, but she is so kind of has so much thinking about how bad the music industry is that actually she can't see that actually she just let go, just see what occurred. So instead of which she's taken herself right out of music and put herself somewhere else, which is okay, but it's her dream is music. But her thinking about it's taken the joy out of it.
That's what happened for singing with me. Same thing happened. Like, I don't know how many people told me, you know, Jasmine, you have a great voice. I love it when you sing. I have a friend that tells me, I'm so disappointed that you stopped singing, you know, and I see that there was a lot of thinking, and I knew I didn't have this understanding. Like, I didn't get the power of thought. I didn't get that my experience was given to me because of what I was thinking, you know, and the thoughts that I was feeding. And back then it was like, I just want to sing and have fun. I don't want to have to wonder, am I at the right, is this the right tone? Am I using my diaphragm properly? Like, you know, it became all about that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now this is boring, because now I was expecting, you know, my singing to be, you know, at this level, and whatever I would hear was not this level. And because I wasn't there, I was just, at one point it just became no longer fun, you know. And that's when I started kind of like saying, okay, I just want to play. Can I just play, you know? So I started playing, and I started seeing that my stage presence was different, because I was kind of like, yeah, whatever, you know, this is me. You don't like it, I'm having fun right now. That was kind of like what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I started having these younger people come to me and say, oh, I can't wait to be like you on stage, you know?
Yeah.
And then I started saying, well, come, you sing? Yeah, come sing with me. So I started bringing people to come and sing with me. And then that triggered something in me that was like, okay, well, how about I create open mic nights? Right? So I created open mic nights, and then I had all these artists showing up, and some of them were like totally at ease, just like I was. And some of them were like freaking out. But once they'd done it, they'd come up to me and say, I can't believe I did that. Can I come back? And I'd be like, for sure you can come back. And that lasted for like 5 years, Georgia. It was beautiful. And it's like, you know, I kind of like just followed that wave of let me create and let me, okay, well, what's calling me now? You know, like
and that's lovely. That's how it should be.
yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing that showed up for me when people were asking me, well, how do you do what you do? Like, I have a girlfriend that says, I've never met anybody that lives the life they want just like you, you know? And then I'm like, well, you got to dare. You also got to dare to like step into it and say, okay, no, this is what I want to do. let me dare and see. And so have you ever experienced the daring?
Well, the daring was actually doing Supercoach last year. Because if I say, you know, in my 56 years so far, obviously from a very young age to, I had my first son at 25, sorry, and my last one at 36. That takes kind of a big expanse, and then bring them up and all sorts of stuff that went on. So when they kind of get to a point of leaving home and getting their own life, of course, as a mother, you all of a sudden get space. And so Supercoach was my first big step out of, and I've trained in other things, hypnotherapy, blah, 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 but it was all very safe stuff, if you get my meaning. So my dare was a case of A for one, tell my husband, Philip, I want to spend all this money on a course and fly back and forwards from LA and do whatever, which was, that felt like a huge dare to do, which actually at the end of the day, what kind of I came to is the fact that we have spent a fortune on privately educating 3 children. And I do mean 3 houses worth of educating them. And yet what was so interesting was the first time it came to spending, and it was, hang on, how much were we talking about? 9 grand, I think it was, £9,000, $12,000 American dollars. And it actually got to it where I went, hold on, the interesting fact was I battled with it so much that, was I worth, how could I spend that much on me? When I spent hundreds of thousands on the kids. And that was really interesting to see. So the dare kind of thing was, of course I'm fucking worth it. And looking back, I can't believe that I even went through that. It felt such a huge thing to do. Madness, absolute madness, because of course I was worth it.
Yeah.
And that the dare thing was saying to Philip, I want to spend that much. But again, all involved in my thinking. So the dare was doing Supercoach. And of course it's transformed, changed so much in life.
Yeah. Sometimes we make up, you know, like we don't do something because of whatever we made up in our heads. And we're afraid of what we just made up in our heads. And sometimes we totally agree with what we made up in our heads. And then when we dare and we actually do it, it's not at all.
No.
You know.
Well, of course, having done it once, then it was a case of, I want to do the advanced track. Another
Yeah,
good
exactly.
£50. I didn't even think about it this time.
Yeah.
This time was just a case of, I know this is right, and I know this is for me, and that's okay. This is, whether you say it's my time or me seeing me in a different light.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
It's
So
really cool
you break
because it,
first, and then the next one is like, what was I thinking about?
yeah, what's really cool is that, like, what I'm hearing is that, like, when it first, you know, when you first were thinking of Supercoach Academy, the thinking, like, you had this want, you know, but you were so involved with the thinking that you didn't know that it was more than a want. It was a knowing that that was. And then after doing Supercoach Academy, and after, you know, really delving inside the 3 principles and how the mind works, you can, like, and I have that same feeling too. Like, we get this understanding, no, this is actually a knowing. This is, I know that I have to do this. Just like these podcasts, like, you know, I was caught up in my head about, oh, well, how am I going to monetize this? Is anybody going to be listening to that? And I'm just like in my head about it all. And at one point it was kind of like, you know what? No, this, I love doing this stuff. I just love doing it. And I'm going to do it. And somebody's going to hear it, and somebody's going to love it, and somebody's going to, you know, maybe hear something in it for them, and hopefully dream, dare, and do something about it. You know, that's kind of like what showed up for me. So that I'm definitely, you know, hoping that some of you out there are actually hearing something for yourself.
And they will, because there's a reason. There is always a reason. And if we kind of settle and are quiet, then every conversation, actually, we can hear something in. When we fall out of the judgment of what we're listening to, then actually you experience every conversation in a different way, every sharing, every bit of everything that comes into our existence in a different way, don't you?
Yeah, I remember a time where I used to listen to things and I'd be like judging and evaluating and going and check in with me. And I'd be like, well, I don't believe this is true, and I don't believe that is true. And I, you know, like, I would be caught up in all that noise in my head that would stop me from really hearing everything. But I knew that when I was able to calm down, like, I didn't know it was that my thinking was just settling in. But, you know, there were these experiences in my life where, you know, at some moment, one particular thing was really, really, really bad. And then that same thing would reoccur in another, you know, some other time, and it wasn't as bad. And I kind of like saw those two things occur, and I was kind of like, what, how is that possible? I was like, I don't understand. Like, and it was really like, you know, once you can just settle the thinking, when you can be with, how did you say it? You can be, I think it's settled, quiet in your mind. You all of a sudden hear things that you hadn't heard before.
And then, do you think it's interesting, because looking at that, does anything from that point of view look like a dare?
Yeah.
Because when you're in that space and you're in that quiet,
Yeah.
it's a different feeling of doing anything, isn't it? Because it comes from kind of, you know, when you think as a child and you go, I dare you to do that.
Yeah.
It has this kind of naughty connotation of, am I brave enough to do it? But actually, when you're quiet, it isn't about daring yourself to do it. It's about just turning up and being there, because it may have that essence of excitement about it, but it isn't that, oh, am I brave enough to do this? Because it's a calmness of doing it, isn't it? It's, or to me, that's
doing it. It's just the doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I mean by daring, actually. When I say it in my mind,
Yeah.
when I say in my mind, I hear, like, I understand how you hear dare, but dare for me means, just don't listen to the thinking that's trying to keep you small,
Yeah.
and just do it, right? Just go ahead, do it, and see how it turns out. It maybe, maybe it's gonna suck. Maybe it's gonna last 5 years. Maybe it's gonna not work out. Doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter.
Well, I think it's beautiful that something can still feel exciting without having nothing on it as to what occurs from it. And that's actually what I get from you about dream it, dare it, just be in the excitement and don't care where it goes.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Mm.
Like, it just turns out to be fun. Like, I know I've lost a lot of time in my thinking, and like, there are things, specifically when it comes to my personal self, like these I have these patterns of thinking that are about me, about how bad I am, how pathetic I am, or whatever I'm saying to myself in that moment, where I would believe those, excuse me, I would believe those, and I would waste, I'm not talking about hours, I'm talking about weeks and months, just because I was feeding and believing that thinking. And then I would, what would occur? I'm trying to. And there was this moment, I get these moments of, oh fuck, I'm sick of this. Like,
It's a bit like on the talk yesterday, when the chap David Horn, who had posted all about his life, and at the very end it was just like, I've had enough, I'm done with this.
Yeah, it's like,
and that's what you're talking about. I'm done here, I don't need this anymore.
yeah. And then I get these new, because I can let go of all that energy, like I would put all my energy into it. Because I just drop it. It's kind of like a drop. I could all of a sudden get my energy back, and all of a sudden new stuff would show up, and then excitement would come again, and then I'd be like, oh wait, I want to do this. Oh yeah, I don't have to think about that. Wait, I can do this now. So it's really but I like that you addressed the dare thing. I like that, because I'd never seen it, how I see how people could use the right terminology for the word, actually, but in my mind that's not how it shows up. My mind, the daring thing is kind of like, just give up the thinking, just like give it up.
Because we learn this as coaches, to ask someone, okay, so they may use a word or an expression, whatever it may be, tell us about it, because as different as our thinking is the difference of our understanding, even down to a word.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that how I took it was different to how you take it.
Yeah. And
but then, can you see something fresh together?
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Do you want to play? Do you want to play a game? Do you want to play the game?
As long as it's not strip poker, that's fine.
Okay, so I played it yesterday. So I have this website. For those of you listening, I have this website that has a gazillion types of questions. And, you know, sometimes I have no idea what the question's going to be.
Okay.
Just as a reminder to everybody, this is uncut and uncensored. So, I mean, if you don't want to bad language, I'm so sorry. It may occur. We do not know.
Especially with me. I know.
With me too. With me too. Okay, so I'm taking a would you rather question. I'm not gonna give you the same ones as Nikon. I'm gonna go a little lower in the list.
As long as that then isn't lowering the level of question.
No, they're all low in the, they're all at the same level of lowness.
Oh, great.
They're low questions. Okay, would you rather be beautiful but stupid, or intelligent but ugly? That's not nice.
That's an awful question.
I know. And I said I wasn't going to edit. Just find a politically
I guess
correct.
you're beautiful and unintelligent. You wouldn't know that you were unintelligent.
If you're beautiful and intelligent, you wouldn't know.
Unintelligent.
You wouldn't know.
Then you wouldn't know that you were unintelligent. So it wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Whereas if you're intelligent and you know you're ugly, then maybe that does become a problem.
Yeah, but really.
Or maybe your intellect would be so amazing you wouldn't care, because you would know how just skin deep that was and it was irrelevant in life.
Exactly.
All down to your thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Really, ugly is like in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly. As in beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would you rather be famous but ridiculed, or just a normal person?
Just
no
a
contest.
normal
Okay.
We're all underneath are normal people anyway.
Would you rather live in a cave or live in a treehouse?
Oh, cave would mean it would be near the sea, possibly. You see, I like the sea. But then living in a tree and looking out over the canopy of a world. Can I have 2 mortgages and buy both?
Yes, you can have anything.
Awesome.
Dream it, dare it, do it. Come on. Okay, I have questions that are called Ask a Girl.
Oh.
I know. I haven't even looked at these questions before, just so you know.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Okay, where is the last place you would ever go?
Oh, crikey. The last place I would ever go. I can't even think of an answer to that one. Because everywhere has to have a factor of exploration in it, doesn't it? Whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's... Okay, the last place I would ever go, the middle of a volcano, because I know I would die there.
There you go. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. I would have said something like a war-torn country. Like I makes me sad, but I wouldn't like to go to a country where there's war.
And yet, knowing what you know, you could help so many.
Yeah, but it's still so real to me. I could die of going there. Like,
well, I knew I was going to die in the volcano. That was an odds on. So yeah, I get you.
Okay. What is the most unusual fear you have? Unusual fear. Unusual fear.
Okay, so I'm not frightened of any animal.
Yeah.
So that isn't an issue.
You know, I've stopped being afraid a while ago.
I was about to say that's.
Yeah, I'm not really.
My fear would be. I mean, my only fear that I can think of would be that anything happened to my children.
Yeah, I get that.
Other than that?
Yeah, so I don't have any children, but I have pets. And
yeah.
I agree. If anything happened to this girl, I would, yeah, I have these dreams. I just remembered a dream. I had a dream last night about my dog before her, Pepper, and I was calling him. I'd lost him, and I was calling him, and I couldn't, like, there was no voice. I was screaming, was going, Pepper! And I was asking people walking to scream for me because my voice wasn't working.
Yeah.
So that's funny. Okay. We
all have those dreams where you go to scream in your dream and you know that you're asleep and that there is no scream and you go, and then eventually it does come out and then you wake the person that's lying next to you.
Okay. Okay, let me just look. Okay, you choose. 200 questions to get to know someone, 250 conversation starters. Okay, give me a number between 1 and 250.
88.
88. Okay, now I got to scroll down all the way to 88.
Sorry, you asked me to give you a number, so I did.
Okay. Number 88, this is what the question is. Do you like reality TV shows? Why or why not? If so, which one?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Okay, you used to watch, there was a British one, which was called EastEnders. I doubt even you know it.
I've seen it. I've seen the name. That's it.
They shout a lot. Everything is always really depressing. And everybody's trying to kill someone else, or they're all bonking each other, or it's just awful.
Okay,
and when
that's not a reality show, though. They're not real people. This is scripted.
Oh, no, I never watched those.
No?
Never, ever. No. I know I have friends who, because you're not seeing the real person anyway.
But it's a social experiment.
But I'd rather sit and talk to someone and actually get to know them. I mean, because having seen, my daughter did a reality program.
Really?
Which was Come Dine With Me. So there were 3 girls and a chap, and he went around each different girl to have dinner, and then he picked one to go and take out on a date. Well, I mean, the television people edited every single moment. They told my daughter exactly what to say. They told her what to wear. This was supposed to be reality television.
But it wasn't.
There was no reality in it at all. And that's all they all are.
Ah.
Edited to make someone look bad, someone look good, someone look like a harlot, someone look like a player, someone look like an angel.
Yeah.
So there's no reality in it at all.
Well,
what about you?
I don't like them at all either. I just never watched them. Okay, I'm lying,
I
obviously.
thought you were, because you started looking over the top of your glasses there and your face totally changed. But yeah, go on.
So I'm a real fan of reality TV. I watch reality TV all the time.
I'm never talking to you again. Awful.
Right now, I'm listening to Love Island.
Oh no!
I love Love Island. I think it's hilarious. I think I just laugh my brains out. I listen to Love Island right now. Right now, there's one season going on. I listen to Dancing with the Stars. I love Dancing with the Stars. This is a beautiful reality television. I love also Queer Eye.
Oh, you mentioned this, the guys that do Houses Up.
Yeah, not only got houses, they do the whole thing. I mean, they're awesome. I personally love that. Like, I see that there are some that are very edited, and I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. But exactly because of like it's so funny because the thinking that I have is I'd love to be the life coach of the participants. I'd love to come in and say, okay, but just have a conversation with him. Like, you're making this shit up, you know? Like, I'm watching Love Island today, and this girl is crying, and it's so funny because her wisdom is talking to her, because she's like, I don't understand why I'm crying for a guy that I've known only for 2 weeks. This is what she says. And I'm like, because you're making it up. So I was like, oh man, if I were there, I'd tell her, you're not crying because of the guy. You're crying because of what you're making up in your head about what all of this means.
That wouldn't make such great television though, would it?
I don't think they
you would be addicted to it if they didn't cry and have a moment.
But, you know, maybe I'm just calling all reality stars out there. If you want a life coach after the show, give me a call. I'm like so ready to coach you.
There you go. You're there. Yeah.
Okay, well, that was definitely a good conversation starter. I'm just very happy that now my closet.
But you do know now. I've spotted your tell. You know, like when you gamble, everybody has a tell. Your tell was looking over your glasses at me. That's it. That was the look. So now I'm going to know never to play cards, or actually I'm probably okay to play cards because I'll be able to tell your tells. So
there you go.
I'll win.
Well, this was fun, Georgia. Thank you so much for coming, and I'm sure that I'm going to invite you again. Because, you know, that's what we do. We talk.
We talk
so
a lot.
I'm going to say thank you. And before we leave, if people want to reach you, they can reach you on, what's your website again?
Well, the best way to reach me is just to look up Georgia Bazin. There is the innerself.co.uk.
Okay.
If not, just find Georgia Bazin, Bazin, on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere, and you'll find me.
Yeah. So, and guys, she's doing a class called Emerging Voices. So her voice is emerging.
It's quite loud enough as it is, isn't
it? So everybody, I hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and see you next time. I still don't know who the next person's going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be as fun as this one. So guys, take care, enjoy, dream it, dare it, do it. See you later.
Do it.
Bye.
All right, darling. Bye-bye.